inequalities today. Graphing inequalities with two variables. So we're going to use this form. Y blank mx plus b. We've got slope like we've been doing. We have the y-intercept. I left a blank there because when we graph inequalities, we could have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. We could have greater or less than.
Will we ever have equal to or not?
We've done equal to. That's just y equals mx plus b. Yep.
Wait, what's the line underneath?
What's the line underneath? It means or equal to. And this means I'm going to have a solid line. So make a note that these have a solid line. Okay. These are just less than, greater than, and they have a dashed line or a dotted line.
Isn't there like another reason you do like a dotted and dash for like whole numbers? And like
You do it on a numbered line.
for like money? Like in a story problem, if it's talking about money, isn't the money like a dashed line?
We're going to do a problem with money. We'll see in a second.
Okay. And then we don't need equal sign? Like,
Right. There's no equal sign when we're graphing inequalities. It's going to be one of these symbols. Okay? So for inequalities, there's going to be no equal sign. No equal sign. When we graph inequalities, we always need to test a point. Test a point. That will determine your shading. Okay, and the shading is our solution region. Okay, the shading is our solution region. And we're going to do an example together right now here in number 1. In number 1, where do I start my graph? Yep. I guess what I'm asking is, what is the y-intercept and what is the slope?
8.
Great. Let's graph that point. So on the y-axis, I'm going to put 8. Now, don't panic. Do you see how the y is going by 2s? Oh, boy. And the x is going by 2. So we're going to go down 3. What's down 3 from 8? 5, and I'm going to go over 1. I made it difficult. So now I'm at 1, 5. From 5, subtract 3. It's going to be at 2. Over 1, it's going to be here. And we should have enough points now. Am I going to have a solid or dashed line or dotted line? Solid. Because this is saying y is less than or equal to. That's what this is saying. So we're going to have a solid line. There's going to be arrows.
How do we know what side to shade?
Great question. How do we know what side to shade? We're going to test the point. Is 0, 0? Is it on my line this time? No, so I can use 0, 0 to test. It's the easiest point to use. So I'm going to replace my y with 0. I'm going to replace my x with 0. I'm going to ask myself, is this a true statement? Negative 3 times 0, that's going to go away.
So is 8 greater than or equal to 0?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. So I would shade where 0, 0 is because it's true.
Okay.
So I'm going to take I would shade this whole thing. So all of these points are solutions.
That's the one thing I never understood in algebra. It's so student paper school. That would meet the school's goal.
Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to make an equation now. So in combination, we need these two types of tickets to be more than 800. So I'm going to let student tickets be X. I'm going to let adult tickets be Y. And I'm going to say 12X plus 8Y. Now here's my question for you. What inequality sign do I put in between here if I want the sales to be more than?
Greater than or equal to 800. Or no, less than. Wait.
It's going to be just more than. Do you see how the words say more than? And remember your alligator, if you think back. The alligator wants to eat the bigger thing. And 12X plus 8Y is representing our sales. Do we see that? Okay, now we did that. Now we're going to solve this for Y. I want to get it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to solve for Y. So I'm going to move the 12X over here. And then what's the last thing I have to do? Divide everything by 8. I would just simplify that 12 over 8. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 8 2 times. And now I could put a point here and graph it. What questions do we have? Questions? If you're unsure how to graph, I'm just going to say 30 over 20. That's the same thing as 3 over 2. And I'm going to go down 30, which would be at 70, and go over 1, 2. And continue that pattern. 40 over 1, 2. And we are going to have a dashed line. Dashed line. We have to decide which side to shade on. So which point should we test? 0, 0. It's not part of the line. We can test 0, 0. Is 0 greater than 100?
No.
So what side am I going to shade?
The right side.
The right side.